Okay guys, today we'll be learning how to create a simple modal using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Okay, and as you can see, I'm having this button around here, but whenever I click on this button that says click me, whenever I click on it, you can see we are having this little nice box appearing, and then whenever I click back on that same button, everything goes out. I click on it again, it comes in, and then I click on this button called OK, it goes back. I click on it again, it comes out, and then I click on the cancel, and then it goes back. So yes, we're going to be seeing how to create something that looks like this or exactly like this. So let's go to the page. Okay, so now I'm having this empty page right here with no design on it, and also we are having this page also that has been created with also no design on it, and our CSS. Okay, inside I'm having some few images that we'll be using for this page. Okay, so in this my project folder, this is the images we'll be using for this video. So we'll be using a nice looking Gmail icon and also a cancel icon to create the modal. So these are the two images we'll be using for this modal. So let's go back to our VS Code, and yes, I'm using the code editor called the VS Code. So let's get to it. Now I have linked my CSS. Please do well and link your CSS and also your JavaScript. Okay, so let's get right to it. So I'm going to be creating a div that will be called a container. I'm creating a div that will be called a container. Inside this div that will be called container, we're having another div again that will be called the inner container. The inner container. Okay, why am I creating two divs? This div will serve the purple background, and this div will serve the nice looking black background. Okay, yes, this div one will serve for the purple, the other will serve for the black, although the black will only occur on click. So we'll see how to actually remove this inner container and actually pass it to on click. Okay, so now let's continue. The next thing I want to do is I want to style this container and also this inner container. So I'm going to my CSS, and then I'm going to say the class of container. So the class of container, we simply want to have a width of 100% and also the height of 100 VH, and then a background color of purple. Okay, and yes, we also need to send everything to the center by displaying flex. We want to display flex and justify every content to the center, although for now this justify content is not really necessary, but yes, we still have to pass every single thing to the center of our page. And yes, I've done this for the container. I'll do the same thing for the inner underscore container. Okay, so let's pass this as I, but this guy will not be having the background color of purple. This guy will have the RGBA of 0, 0, 0, and then so we're having 3 zeros, and then we're having 0.62. This is to blur the black a little bit so that the black will not look too blackish. So when I refresh this page, so as you can see, you are having a nice purple background over there, and also something like looks like black on it, like it's dull. Okay, so when I remove this black color from here, you see that the purple will be shining. Okay, so when I add the black back, okay, we see that now this purple is a little bit dull. Okay, yeah, so this is what we want to do. The next one we want to do right now is to add the button to our page. Remember, we've set everything to go to the center of the page, so we're going to get the button. Inside this, I'm going to say button. Okay, inside this button, I'll just simply say click me. Okay, and also I'm going to give it a class that is called click. Okay, So, and then let's tie this button. This is how our button is looking like right now. You can see how small it is, but we want to style the button. So when I go back here, I'm going to call out the class of click. What do I want to do here? I simply want to make the background color white, and then I also want to add padding to it, which will be padding top and bottom should be 0, left and right should be 30 pixels, okay. And then we want to add a border to it. We want to add a border, so let's say border radius, so let the border radius be 30 pixels also. And then let's look at how our button is looking like. Refresh, and yes, look at how our button is looking like. So I'm going to add more to it. I'm going to come down here, and then I still want this guy to at least stretch out a bit, and whatever content we pass inside it should be at the center, which is this click me. Okay, let it be at the center of the page. Let it be at the center of the page. We're not having a nice looking button over here, so I'm going to go back, and then I'm going to remove these guys. I'll set it to 8 pixels, and then I'll set the other one to 16 pixels. Okay, and then when I go back here, refresh, okay, I'm not having something that looks like this. So let me increase this to 9. We need it to be a little bit bigger, so let's increase it to 9 pixels. So refresh, yeah, it's looking a little bit bigger. And then I'm going to be adding the font size. So I'm going to add in the font size, so let the font size be 500 pixels, and then font size, the font size should be 22 pixels, and then the font width should be the 500, and then we still want to add the cursor pointer. Okay, and then let's look at how our button is looking at right now. So yes, this is how our button is looking like. Now we want to create the modal, so I'm going back here, and then I want to create the modal. So over here I'm going to be having a div that will be called a modal. Okay, inside this modal I'm creating 2 divs. The first div, I'll name this first div thanks, and then I'll name the second div, and I'm giving it the class of cancel. I'm giving it the class of the cancel, and then let's style this modal first before we look at how to face these thanks and cancel. Okay, so let's get the modal. So I'm going to say the class of modal, and yes, I will set the width to 400 pixels, and then I will set the height to 40 VH height. And yes, I'm going to also give it a background color of white, and also I'm going to add a padding. Now I can add a padding. Okay, so the top and bottom should be 0, left and right should be 30 pixels by 30 pixels, and then let's look at how our padding is going to be looking like right now. So this is how our padding is looking like right now. Now what I want to do is I want to change these edges. Can you see these edges? I want to curve them a bit. So I'm going to here, I'm going to add a border radius, border radius, which should be around 6 pixels, and then when I look back at it, you can see that it's now nicely curved. Okay, so yeah, what do I want to add again? I want to send it to the left hand side, so let this guy come up a little bit and also go to the left hand side. So I'm going to be adding, to do that I need to first of all set the position to absolute. This will remove it from the order of the page, and then I can set the left to 75%, and then also set the right. I'm setting the right to 25%. Refresh. So position is set to absolute left and right, sorry, left and top. Yeah, so I think this is a little bit too much. So yes, it's too much, so let's reduce this, and then I'm setting this to 60%, and then also let's set this to, let's just use 2%, and then let's see how it look like. So when I refresh this, so this is what I am having over here. Okay, so yes, I'm now having this nice modal over here. Now it's time for me to add the content inside of the modal. So I'll be going back to my HTML, and then I need to pick these two display flex. Okay, set them at the center of the page. So I'm going to be adding the display flex on them, and also I will say justify each of the content to the center and align the items to the center. Okay, so I'll also pass the color as you have should be #33. Okay, and also I'm going to be adding a transition. So I'm asking to transform. So let it transform translate to -50% and comma -50%. So when I look at this, yeah, it's now around here. So what I need to do is to set this as 25 right now. Okay, so it's down here, but you still need to go to the left hand side. Now we can now go back to the 75 which I gave it initially. Okay, and yes, this is how I want it to look like. Okay, since I added this transform translate, it actually shifted the modal, which I don't want, so I need to increase the number to set it back to this place. So when I refresh, I'm still having it over there, and when I click, nothing yet is happening right now. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I will add a transition on it so that it can nicely move to the to the right hand side. So I'm going to be adding a transition. Okay, so this transition we have the transform. Okay, so let's have the transform. So we're asking it to transform 4.0 second for 0.4 seconds, and also from the top should also be so from the top should also be 0.4 seconds. Okay, yes, so right now it won't display because it actually need a trigger for it to work. It actually need a trigger for it to work, and I'm supposed to set a scale because right now we need to get smaller, and when it's coming down it get bigger. Okay, but we won't set it now until we are done. Let's design this model. So I'm going to go back to my page. Yes, and as you can see, I'm having the text and the cancel. So right here in the text and the cancel, they're supposed to contain the modal 100%. So I'm going to be sharing these two guys. Let's say I'm going to be giving this around 95% and also 5%. So I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to call out the div that has the class, or rather let's just say class of text. And what we want to do, we want to set the width to the text should have 95%. Okay, the text should have 95%, and also want to put every single thing at the center of our page, and also justify content at the center, and also align items at the center. Yes, that's what we want to do. And then we want to also do the same thing for the cancel. So we'll say class cancel, but we want the cancel to be 5% instead. Now I can now add my my content into the modal, but don't forget that the text should be in column. Everything that is coming inside the text should be in column. Whenever we do this display flex, it will take every single thing in one line. So I'm going to come back here and I'll add flex direction. So the flex direction should be column for the text. Now I can go back to these text and then add my content. The first content I want to add is my image. Okay, is my image. So I'm going to be getting the Gmail icon. Okay, so let's go. So I'm going to say image / the social icon, and then we want to set the width to 15%. So I'm going to be saying that the width of this image be 15%, and when I refresh, I'm going to be saying the image at the center of my page. Then I want to add, okay, so then I want to add the H. Let's just make it the H1. So this H1 should nicely say thank you. So let it say thank you, and then we'll add a p tag that says message successfully. So message successfully sent. Okay, so yes, when I look at this is what we're supposed to be having right here. Yeah, so yes, we're having this message successfully sent, thank you, and this nice looking icon over here. Okay, so this is how it's looking like right now. Thank you. And the message is not supposed to be too far from the text that we are having. So let's make sure we actually added a padding to the modal. Okay, yes, we did. Okay, and we're going to go back down here. Okay, let's proceed. So yes, the next one I want to do right here is I want to add the button and then rearrange all this. Okay, before we do that, I need to set this thank you to have the font of 500 pixels, font width of 500, and the font size of 38 pixels. So I'm going to go back here, and then I'm going to be calling out this thank you. So I need to just say the D has a class of thanks, then the arrow of H1 to call out the thank you. So let's go. So I'm say the class of thanks, and then the arrow of what, of H1. What do I need? I just want to set the font weight. So the font weight should be 500, and then the font size should be 38 pixels. And let's look at the font again. Refresh. Okay, and yes, we also need this message to actually go up a little bit. This message should go up a little bit, but before we do that, let's add a button. Let's add a button to it. So down here, I'm going to be adding a button. I'm going to be adding a button to it, and then we're going to say okay, and then we're going to be having this as okay, and then so we say okay to it, and then we need to go back up, and then we actually need to style this button which is saying okay. But before we do that, when we go up here and I refresh on this page, you can see that everything here, you can see my okay is out, but this is having much space and margin, which I don't want spaces and margin. So I'm going to go back here and I'll call use the universal call, and then I'll be adding the asterisk. In the asterisk, I'm going to set the margin. I'm going to be setting the margin to 0, and then padding to 0, and also I will set it to box sizing, border box. Okay, this border box, what it will do is whenever I'm adding a padding or margin to a particular div, it will actually let the pattern and margin work inside of the box, and it will increase the sizes of our box. Okay, and then whenever and whatever we are doing anything or style in our tags or on our tags, we don't want the margin and the padding of each tag. So if I refresh, as you can see, everything goes together, which will remove the padding and the margin around this text. So over here we want to style this button okay. So I'm going to come back here and I'm going to be calling the class of okay. So I'm saying class of okay. This okay, what do I need? I need this okay to have I need the okay to have the width of so the width, we want the width and the height to actually look like this button over here. So I need a nice curved button. It shouldn't look like a square that we are having here. We want to make it look like this, and we already have the code that actually looks like this. So I'll simply hold on, and then I'll go get the code for the button. So I think the button name is click, so I'll get this code, Ctrl C, and then I'm going to come down here and I'll paste the code, Ctrl V. Yes, and now when I look back at this code, you can see what we are having. The only difference is we need to reduce the top and the bottom padding. Okay, so I'm going to come back here, and then this top and bottom padding, I need to reduce it to let's say 6, and then refresh. Okay, let's still reduce it more. I'm going to be passing 5 pixels. Okay, so this is much more better. This is better, much better. So yes, what do I want to do? I'll need to shift this guy a little bit down. I need to shift it a little bit down. Okay, so I'm going to be saying margin top. So margin top of 2%. Good. And then I need to add a color to it and a text of white. So I'm going to say let the color, let's say color should be FFF, which is white. Okay, and then the background color should be RGBA, because we need a blurrish purple. So we're going to be saying RGBA. So I'm picking this, and then so yes, let's get it. Now this should be 128, and the green should be 0, and then the blue should be 128. Okay, and then the alpha will be 0.596. 0.596. Okay, so let's go back here, refresh. We'll be having this color, and then we don't want this border, we don't want the border. So I'm going to come here, and then I will say border, say let the border, let it be 0, and then let the outline also be none. We don't need any outline. Refresh, so we get something that looks like this. And yes, this is what we want. This is exactly what we want. Okay, now I need this icon to be found around here, so I'm going to go back to my HTML, and then over here I'll add the image, and then I'll say image / I want to get this cancel, and as you can see, this cancel will be around here. It's way too big, so we'll reduce the height of it. Okay, we'll reduce the height of it. First we need to reduce the height of the cancel itself, so I'm going to go back here. I'm going to locate cancel. Do I have cancel? Yes, I have cancel, which cancel is scaling 5%, and then we're going to be setting the image width to, so we're setting the width, so that the width, we're setting the width to 100%. Although I'm supposed to reduce it, but it should just fit to the given width. Okay, so yes, this is it. It should fit to the given width. This is looking too small. Yes, it's looking too small. So what I will do is I will increase the space. Okay, so this shouldn't be 95. I think this should be, let's say 90. Let's reduce it and say 92. So I'm going to be adding 3 to this 5, which will make it 8. Okay, and then when I refresh, I think the icon should be a little bit bigger. And then let's go back, and then let's send the icon to the top. So I'm going to say this cancel, or rather I'm picking this icon itself, and I'll ask it to margin top auto. Okay, I'll ask it to margin top auto. So I simply need to get it through the mother div. So I'm coming back here, then I'm going to say the class of cancel, okay, with the arrow of img. What do we want? We just simply want it to margin bottom auto. This will push it to the top of the page. Now this guy is supposed to go to the top of the page. I'm setting the height of cancel to auto. So I'm saying height. Let's just give it 100%. Refresh. Can you see now the height is longer, and then now we are having the cancel button over here. I need a little space around here. I need a little space around there, so this icon should come down a bit. Okay, so let's come back there, and then we'll ask cancel to have a padding top. Let it have a padding top of 4 pixels. If it's too small, we increase it, like I said. So let's say 7 should be fine. A padding top of 7 pixels. Okay, so this is better. Now whenever this pops up, we can now click on this cancel or say okay to it. So yes, what I want right now is whenever I click on this button, that is when I want to see this. So to do that, I need to hide this first. And to hide it, I need to decrease the scale. So I'm going back to the modal. Okay, and then over here on the transform, I'm going to be adding scale. So let it scale up to like 0.4. Let it scale 0.4, and when I refresh, this gets small. Let's use 2. So I need it to be very, very small. So yes, and then let's this is a scale of 2, and then let's hide it. So let's hide this. I'm going to be removing this top 25 because we don't need it here. When it's coming back, we need the top 25. So I'm going to be removing this top 25, and right now it will be around here at the top. Okay, so okay, so I'm going to come back here, and then I'll add top, but this time around I'm not adding the 25. I'm only going to be adding 0. and as you can see it's here, but when I refresh it should be up here. Now that it's up here, I need it to remove it. It shouldn't be visible, so I'll say the visibility should be hidden, okay, for now. And then when I click on this refresh, we don't have it here again, although this dark guy is still here, but don't worry, it will soon be out. Let's go and work on the JavaScript. But before we work on the JavaScript, let's add what we call the active. So say dot active. What do I want on our active? Whenever the active is activated, we want the visibility to be let the visibility be visible, and then want it to scale. So we are going to say transform and then scale 1. Let it scale 1, and also we also need the top to be 25%, okay, once it is visible. And if we don't like the way it is being set once it is visible, we will rearrange the code all over again. So let's proceed, and then I'm going to refresh, then go to my JavaScript. Remember, we don't need this inner container, so I'm going to be removing this inner container from here. Don't worry, the inner container is going to come back, but I'm going to be passing what I call let's call it inner for now. Let's call it inner for now. Okay, so let's refresh. As you can see, the dark is out, and then we are having this button also. Now this button, we don't need this black line that I'm seeing here, so I'm going to locate the button. I'm going to locate the button. So yes, this button over here, which is called click, and I'll just simply add border of 0 and also outline. So outline of none. Okay, this will remove the lines I'm seeing over here. So can you see we don't have any lines again? So let's go to our JavaScript. So when I go to the JavaScript, what do I want to do? I want to simply select this button, because it's on click on this button that everything needs to actually, or everything wants it to do should actually happen. So we are going to be saying document dot query selector. We are picking the class of click, and we are going to be adding an event listener, which the event will be a click event. Okay, and then we'll pass an anonymous function. Okay, in this anonymous function we'll also call a document. Okay, dot query selector all over again. This time we are selecting on click on this, we want to select the modal. We want to select the modal, so we'll say class modal. Okay, so let the class modal toggle the active. So we're going to say dot class this dot toggle. So let it toggle what? Let it toggle the active. So when it does that, whenever we click on, I'm refreshing right now. When I click on it, it toggles it, and as you can see, this is where it's taking the image to, and we don't want that. So I'm going to come back here to the CSS, and let's go down there to the modal. Okay, so once the active is available, we want it to push to the left, but we don't need to go down much. Okay, so I'm going to be reducing the 25 to let's say, yeah, so we reduce it to, let's say 2. If I reduce it to 2 and refresh, then click on me, it's coming out, but it's still, now it's up here, but it's inside so much. So we're going to go back here, and then we'll reduce the modal left. So yes, so we are reducing the modal left to 60 and then refresh. So when I click on this, yes, we are having this nice looking modal. So as you can see, click on the click me, it goes out, click on it back, it comes in. Yes, that is exactly what we want. But we also need that whenever I click on OK, it goes out, and whenever I click on this cancel button, it also goes out. So let's get to it. So I'm going to come back here, okay, then I'll go to the JavaScript. I don't also need it to toggle the just active. I also need to toggle the inner container. So I'm going to say inner underscore container, okay, and then I'll be changing the selector to, let's say, contain. I believe that's what I'm having in my HTML. Okay, sorry, inner, not contain. So let's come back here and then let's say inner. Okay, so let's look at our JavaScript and at our browser. So when I click on it, it gets black and we have this, and when I click back on it, it goes out. So yes, this is what we want. So I'm going to be repeating this like 2 to 3 times, both for the button and then for the cancel icon. So this, the first one will be for the OK button. So on click of the OK button, because I have the OK, let it do this also. But this time we don't want it to toggle, we need it to remove. So let it remove, let it remove the class list and also remove the inner container. And the other one is a cancel button. So on click of this cancel button, so to do this we need to quickly pass in an ID, which I'll just call it an img. So whenever I click on the ID that has the img, whenever I click on this, we need to remove the active and then also remove the inner container, and then going back here, refresh, click me, I'm having this, okay, everything goes back, click me, I'm having this, cancel, everything goes out. So yes, now we have created our simple modal. Yes, you can actually create this modal and design this modal to be in any size of your choice, left, right, down, even at the center of your page. Okay, so you can put it at any direction which you actually like to actually place your modal. As for now, whenever I toggle on this button, you can see the modal is coming out. Okay, so yes, and that will be that for today. Okay, we'll be shooting more videos and also training you on how to do some other nice effects using JavaScript, CSS and HTML. So thanks for now, see you later.